Welcome back to the Local Catch. I'm Ross Robertson, and today we're going to show you a couple different types of fish. We got kind of a mixed show, a little bit something different from us. First, you're going to see us on Lake Erie catching some big old walleyes. Everybody's had a lot of chance to get out there with such a long winter polar vortex craziness. And then the second thing we're going to show you is a little different, something the family and you can really get everybody involved in. So stay tuned to find out about all that fish catching action. You know, when you head out ice fishing, unlike a lot of trips, you know, not that safety is not important when you're open water fishing, but with ice fishing, it's first, second, and third biggest priority. And you know, when you head out and you're doing a TV show, it's even more of a pain because, you know, we've got a caravan of people. We've got a bunch of buddies going because it's a social event, but we've also got a lot of camera equipment. We've got camera guys, and it makes things, you know, a lot more difficult when you've got so many people that you're kind of accounting for and making sure everything's okay. When you head out there, you know, there's cracks. It's just how it is. And a good ice season like this, I mean, it's the most ice we've had, they say, in 100 years. We still got a lot of problems and things we have to check.
That one up close is worse than that one. I said that one up close we went over was worse than that one.
You can have 99% of it be okay, and that 1% is the thing that gets you in trouble. And you know, we progressively, as we head out, we find 3 or 4 cracks that aren't really open, but they're open enough that we just got to be sure. We got to be 100%. We've got Argos and 4-wheelers and snowmobiles going across these, a lot of weight, a lot of people, and we're just taking our extra time. And we're 7-8 miles out in the middle of Lake Erie, and that's equivalent to me of about 20-25 miles if it was the summertime. That's just a long way, especially when you figure how long it takes us to get out there. Even though we got snowmobiles, you know, we do 80 miles an hour, we're driving, you know, 10 to no more than 20 miles an hour because it's either going to beat the tar out of the equipment, but also just we're not doing what we need to do safety-wise. And you know, when you get there, just everything takes a lot longer. It's kind of like everything's in slow motion. When we get there, the amount of time to set up on the steps and things we have to do, whether it's drilling a hole, you know, we set up our shanties. I mean, it's cold, it's blowing, it's windy. I mean, it's brutal conditions. This isn't just a simple thing like we go perch fishing in the summertime. There's so many steps, and each of them requires a lot of time. We just set lines here, and it's not a giant, but we've got a connection. Drop down a little pimple, and we have got what's known as a Lake Erie walleye. Just manhandling these things. It's like hand-to-hand combat out here. Freezing in the tundra. Can't even hold on to them. Cold hands. Looking like a ding-dong, but we got them. Basically what we're doing is we're out here, a lot like you guys have watched our panfish shows. We're using the old hummingbird, and I literally just kind of play this fish up and down, using a little jig and spoon, tipping it with a few minnows. And when you watch them come up, boom, there's another one down there right now, and I got no lines in. So we're going to throw this one on the ice because my buddy needs a few fish. And I'm going to catch another one for you.
Oh, he's coming, man. It's hard with that ice so thick. It's so hard to get them steered through the hole here.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh,
there.
Hey, guess what that was on?
Yeah, I know. It's that.
You guys are getting to see literally the first fish on camera. This is a brand new lure. There's about a dozen in existence. It's a silver streak rattle spoon with a little bit of UV on it right now.
Yep.
We've been doing real good in low light conditions. And man, that thing's just, that's our favorite purple postured. You only got one of those. I couldn't even bum one of these from him the other day. And that thing just crushed it, didn't he? And you know, I was just talking about that on mine. I drew my first fish in with it, and then it went over my other lure. And that's pretty common, but I'll tell you what, that's a good little leader.
Yeah, definitely.
Throw that aside. And I'm going to run back because I'm going to steal that lure.
Yep, I'm going to have to get baited back up here and get down there again.
And traditionally, I'm kind of a run and gun guy. If I'm not catching them, I want to move and find somewhere that the fish are either biting or there's more fish. I mean, you never truly know how many fish you're around because your real estate is right here, right below you. You know, the boat, you're drifting, you're covering a lot more water. You're either 100% on or 100% off when you're ice fishing. Hey Chris, you know, that first one I got was about 18 inches off. You said you were holding that about 3 foot up to get him to kind of swim in, or?
Yeah, I was holding it about 3 foot there, and all of a sudden the fish finder just started lighting up. So maybe just having it up there off bottom a little bit kind of brought him in.
Do you think that was a cruiser, or did he come off bottom?
I think it just came up off bottom.
You know, sometimes you just got to have that separation and make them kind of go after it a little bit. We found this year that just kind of camping out over fish and waiting for them to turn on, because they were there, they were just really reluctant. There'd be an hour of just guns out, catching them, couldn't do anything wrong, and then another hour or two of not much. And you know, when we started off in the morning, I mean, it was good. Oh, Chris is on fire. Dude,
yeah,
what do we got?
This made that switch to that bigger pimple and that, and man, I mean, he just whaled it. Oh, he's pulling drag.
Oh, yeah, boy.
Nice fish here.
Oh. I'll tell you what, that's worth getting my hand wet for, I think.
Come on, fish.
This one's
Stay up and down here instead of getting on that edge of that ice.
Yeah, this one's gonna take a little bit, huh?
Yeah, gosh, look at that. I mean, figure that rod's 30 inches long and he's got it bent way over.
You either lay on this one?
What?
Yeah, you're on your other
line.
line.
You're wrapped over there? Wow, that's how much he's really swimming around.
That's how much this thing is swimming. He's on his other line.
Here he comes.
I saw it bouncing.
Here he comes.
Oh, boy. Oh, Chris.
Wow.
You got you a donkey. I'm going to try to turn his head a little bit. Oh, yeah, boy.
Now that is a nice fish.
Wow. You know, this thing is just hung up in everything. We'll get that out of the way, but
man,
wow.
Nice fish.
I'll tell you what, that thing did hit like a ton of bricks.
Oh man, I couldn't believe how hard he hit. Wow.
That right there is a Lake Erie giant. I bet you that's about 29 inches, probably 9-10 pounds.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, wow, healthy fish.
Dude, how did that one come in compared to the other stuff? Because the presentation is so critical right now.
And that's the thing. I mean, even with the graph, I did not even mark the thing. I mean, all of a sudden, I just lifted the rod up slowly off the bottom and then just wham. I mean, he just nailed it.
You know, some of them come in and you got to fuss with them for 10 minutes and you get them or you don't, but sometimes they just come in pile driving, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to catch one. I'm done talking.
All right.
Whew, that was a good one.
I'll tell you. I didn't have anything on there, and wham!
When we come back from the local catch, I'm going to introduce you to Chip Cartwright, the owner of Silver Streak Lures. He's going to show you some brand new prototype stuff that's not even on the market that we've been working on all winter.
That thing's starting to get hot.
You were on fire. I'm gonna wear a path over to you here.
He's really heading to the east there with that current.
I think he's over in Cleveland.
Rubbing that ice pretty good there.
That's on that 3/4 switch again, isn't it?
Yep, it's the same lure there. I mean, I think like you said, just getting a little more vertical. Oh yeah, another nice fish there too.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh boy. Wow.
Wow. That was a repeat, huh?
Well done. You got a little pair of pliers all.
Yeah, he really got hooked up on that one, didn't he?
You know, he's not hooked. Oh, I got him out already. I'll tell you what. That is a heck of a fish there, huh?
Yeah. It's like a cookie cutter of that last one.
No doubt. So we're going to go ahead and dump this one back. And let's try to get another one.
Sounds good.
You know, we're out here on the ice, and I'm with my good buddy Chip Cartwright. And Chip's the owner of Silver Streak Lures, and a company I've been with for a long time. And traditionally, you know, I've used their walleye and salmon spoons and even the crawler harnesses in the last handful of years. But sat down with Chip like 3 years ago. We've been working on a lure because we said, why not have an ice lure, right? Yep. I mean, ice fishing is growing. I'm on the ice team. We travel all over the place, and Chip is the master of spoon design. And, you know, it's kudos to you that it's taken 3 years because we haven't had ice, right? I mean,
well, it's tough, you know, when you can't get out and fish it and make sure that it works good, and you know, we don't want to put anything out that's not going to work and fish is right in a lot of different conditions and stuff, because it's always different out here. So.
And we've done a lot of different tooling and molding to try to kind of just tweak it. It's just, that's one thing I've learned from you, is just a subtle little difference in a spoon, even though they all look the same, makes a big difference in the end product.
Well, when it goes through the water, just a little bit of change makes a big difference, especially to the fish. So.
You know, and the one thing I like on this is, I mean, this is so new, we don't even have a name for it.
Nope, doesn't even have a name yet. It's just prototype stuff. But
You know,
It's
and
coming.
the thing I like about it and why it's got all the size ranges. You know, we've got big stuff, we've got small stuff, because today the wind is howling. I'm sure they can hear that.
Yep.
And you need some bigger stuff. I mean, we can't even stay vertical with hardly anything. But yet, like yesterday, I was using the smallest model. I don't even know how small it is because it's so new.
Yeah.
But I know it works.
Well, that's the thing, you got to have a range for every condition because it changes out here. Like I say, it's a lot of current out here today. You need bigger stuff to keep it in the hole.
R&D, not just fishing.
You betcha.
That's okay, we'll take it. Let me get you out of the way there. What did you get this little monstrosity on?
It's on a fire tiger.
Fire tiger, is that on there? Wait, what lure we can't even talk about yet?
Top secret. It's a little better than I thought here. It's full of line out here. Feel too big at first.
No, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger as we go. I like those that rock you to sleep. This oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, look at Chip getting in on the big dog play. Oh yeah. Look at you, big old monster.
I guess a little better than I thought.
I want to show you something here. This is a lure that's not even on the market yet, but that's when you know that they want it. You know, we're out here and kind of the buzzword for today has been current, and obviously the wind was blowing most of the day really hard and that will cause a current. But Lake Erie, most people that fish it a lot know, has a generally west to easterly current, and even if it's going back the other way, we almost always have a current. I've heard biologists describe it almost more as like a river than truly a lake by definition because of the constant current that we have. And long story short, what that means for us is, you know, watching your line angle, whether it's when you're reeling a fish in and seeing where he's actually at, or watching the angle for bites, watching for how much angle you have in your line for if you need to put a bigger lure on. And one thing that I do is I use a high-vis line like this. This is just a regular high-vis monofilament, and I put it down to a leader of about 2, 3, 4 feet, something like that. And that makes a big difference, being able to see that. It also, you know, catching on the edge of the hole, whether you wrap it around something, it's a lot easier than if you had a regular clear or green monofilament, especially when it's low light conditions. You know, we're generally fishing dark to dark out here. So having a high-vis mono is going to make it a lot easier, whether it's not wrapping around your heater, your poles, or seeing the current. You know, I fished an awful lot this winter, and there was days they just didn't want to go real good. And then there was a lot of days where, you know, the bite was on and off. And as this wind just kept picking up and picking up, I mean, the bite just got worse and worse and worse. And honestly, at that point, I'm kind of the den mother, and I'm just thinking about our safety, because when you have that much wind and you're on a hunk of ice, you aren't thinking about catching fish as much as you are just making sure that everything's going to be good to go. We just kind of accepted the fact that this was going to be one of those days that we didn't want to end our ice fishing season on, but it was just getting tough. And the bite was almost non-existent. And it hurts because, you know, the day before we just absolutely smashed them. I had 4 or 5 fish over 10 pounds. And then, you know, doing basically the same thing, seeing the same fish, they just don't want to bite. And it's tough to deal with, and especially end your season on, but sometimes it is what it is. When we come back, we're going to switch gears. We're leaving Lake Erie in the cold ice, but we're still going to be pretty chilly. But we're going to show you something that's really great to do come springtime, whether it's with your family, your fishing buddy, or just something to get the kids out and get them out of the house. Another one. I mean, this guy's on fire. Are we going to catch all fish all day? Hey guys, welcome back to Local Catch. I'm Ross Roberts, and I'll tell you what, we're leaving the boat aside again, and we're going to do something a little bit unique. We're out trout fishing. And it's something that's really overlooked. We're out at the Marco Farley Trout Club. I didn't even know it existed, I hate to say. But there's a lot of places you can go do this. Places like Olander, a lot of state places. And trout fishing is great. Right now we can't really get on Lake Erie. We got too much ice. A lot of the inland lakes either don't have an open season, or it's just realistically not good fishing. So something like this is a great way to cure your cabin fever and get out on the lake. And we've got a couple of the kids along. One of my buddies brought his son and his nephew, another guy. So we're out here, we're gonna have a good kind of party style fishing when we really can't do anything else. So stick with us, it's sure to be a hoot. You know, I get stopped all the time, and guys are asking me about, you know, things they can take their kid. You know, they don't have a boat, or they don't have a boat big enough to go on Lake Erie. And really there is a lot of things in the, you know, Toledo and northern Ohio, southern Michigan areas that you can do. And you know, like this trout club we went to is a prime example. I mean, there's just a ton of fish. It's just fish catching action. And you know, I took advantage to take my buddy Pat, take his son out, and my buddy Brian, his nephew, and had a couple of the other kids out. And it's just fish catching action. That's really what you need to get kids involved in fishing, but you need to have some catching action because they're not as patient as we are, let's face it. What do you got there, David?
I don't know. It's playing really good.
I'm not sure. Has it got you or you got it?
It gets me probably.
What grade are you in?
Kindergarten?
You're in-
And this thing is good.
Oh! Back up a little bit. Back up. Oh,
Ross.
boy. Oh, I got him for you. You got him. Nice. David just got himself a nice one there. You know what'd you catch him on? Do you know? Is that some power bait?
I think it's a power bait.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my little tweezers here. Got that little tiny hook in him. If I can get-
Survived.
Yeah, we're gonna get him. He's hooked right in the nose there. You did a good job. I just barely got him hooked. That little tiny treble hook. And David, show him your fish. I'm gonna hold him because he is really slippery.
That thing is.
He is going.
Oh, grab him! Grab.
We're gonna let him go anyhow. These fish will congregate in these little pods, and it's good just to walk around. You just go to a little different spot. We've been working kind of the same little bank here, but Owen has a little hot spot around here he's going to show us, so follow us. We're walking. Hey, you weren't kidding. This is your little honey hole right here, ain't it? Owen with the blade bait fish. Oh.
How do you like that, Ross? Owen tells us exactly where to
He
go.
told us where to go. Oh man, this
First
thing.
cast, he catches one.
This is grease lightning for sure. Oh, you got Donkeyville on there?
You feel like it.
You gonna make me get my hands cold and wet again?
I got Ross Jr. on right here. Donkey.
Long and strong.
Double.
Owen, double trouble.
We got doubles on here.
I should probably go help him since his is bigger than yours. All right, don't reel no more. You let a little bit of line out. All right.
Let's make Ross work a little extra hard here, taking two fish off at once. See how good he really is.
Well, I want to see if Brian can do his own.
I got a big one.
Yeah, we're gonna take care of Owen since it's just a little bit bigger than you. And look, oh, he's so nice. He just barely hooked. There's a big old fatty right there.
Is that the big one?
Owen showing Brian how to catch a big one again. Big old fatty trout right there. Put it in a little butter, saute that thing. Tastes so good right there. A little bit of butter in the pan. You know, the Marco Farley Trout Club was nice enough to invite us out on a day where they were actually stocking the pond. And it's neat to see, you know, from A to B and on how this whole procedure is. All the club members were out, everybody's throwing on a helping hand because we're actually unloading a lot of fish from this, you know, water truck basically into the pond. It was kind of just a caravan of guys with nets and, you know, to get these fish in. I mean, they just don't show up. You know, these fish here, they're in a small little reservoir dugout pond and, you know, they come from a fish place. I mean, these fish are raised and that's how they get them in. Brian, I'll tell you what, we talked about more than one way to skin a cat. The little cicada.
Ross finally got one here today, guys. I had to show him what to use, and he put it on, and look, he's got one here.
I've got more cicadas than I got fingers and toes. I love that bait, but normally I'm using it for walleyes and for
Let me see if I can
For
help you
small
out
ones.
land this thing here.
I'll tell you, they are so
Slimy.
slimy
Oh, yeah.
and it's so
Oh,
cold
yeah.
out yet. That's a nice one. Oh yeah, nice little fatty. I even brought a towel for you.
Oh, you're so kind, Ross. He's
I know.
always thinking of others when he's fishing. That's a good thing about Ross.
Hooked it good, man. That thing really hit her. You know, let's talk about a little bit about the blade bait. I mean, this deal here, it does a lot of stuff, Brian, as you know. One thing is you got to use a snap, and I got a snap swivel on here just honestly because that's what I had. But this is going to throw off a lot of vibration. They can hone in on it, but also a lot of flash. And you know, that combination can be pretty deadly. And we talked about this is just a good cold water bait. So, and there's the
I'm
evidence.
gonna let this fish go real quick so we can get him back in there. But yeah, it's nice and sunny out today too. So you get that flash with the sun and everything out. And these fish are really keying in on it right now.
Let's get another one.
Let's do it.
Hey, no, I'm not gonna give you the rag.
See what I told you guys? He's so kind to everybody all the time.
David's got another one. Our MVP for sure. You know what? We've been catching him on a blade bait, and that's been good. But then Dave's been over here just dead sticking them with a little power bait rig. And he's just ranking on them, just cranking. Whoa, slow. Oh.
Come back to me.
Oh, okay, we got him. I got him.
Got that greasy beast?
I got the greasy beast for sure. Look at that thing. He was pretty nice to us, huh? He got us right in the nostrils there. If I get my pliers out, we're gonna get him unhooked. They are a greasy beast. That's the new phrase of the day.
Yeah, and I call this a sling birth baby.
If I can get him unhooked today.
He's only got a bad hook.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
He's really bloody.
We're gonna let him go so he's better. But you got another one.
Yeah, 4th. No, let's let him go.
We're gonna let him go.
He got skinned.
He'll be good.
You know, it's been a heck of a long winter here, and we've got some nice weather. The sun is out, and I got a hold of my good buddy Brian Doyle and Pat Johnson. Said, hey, let's go do some fishing. And you know, there's not a lot of options this year that are really good where you can straight up just catch fish. You know, some of the seasons aren't open. There's still ice floating out in Lake Erie. It's not really safe. And we came to the conclusion as we're talking, we're like, hey, well, let's get the boys out. So we brought our main man Owen here, Brian's nephew, and we brought David, which is Pat's son. And we got just a ton of fish catching, so it's really important for us, you know, to get the younger generation involved in fishing and doing something like this, whether it's pan fishing or in a trout place like this, where we're going to have a lot of action to keep these guys engaged. And I don't know, you guys it was a heck of a day. We caught a lot of fish. We caught a lot of fish doing a lot of different things. The blade baits by far, like the cicada, were the home run hitter. We caught some on some Carolina rigs with some power bait, but I don't know, guys. I mean, you catch brook trout, brown trout, and a whole bunch of rainbows. Doesn't get much better than that. So next time you guys get out, just go fishing. Take some young guys with you. And from all of us here at the Local Catch, we look forward to seeing you.
It all can't be walleye.